focus on water signs. Water. All right, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This is your weekly reading. I'm getting through a couple of days, so we'll be able to, as the weeks roll on, we'll get into a bit of a flow with these element readings. So last week is the first week. I'm trying the weekly elements, the daily Monday to Friday check-ins, and the monthly readings. So that's all the free content you get here on YouTube. I do share a little more intuitive stuff with my Patreons. Patreons get access to playlists, including my Yoga Crew playlist, the Be the Change courses, and where needed, Patreons can access a little discount on private readings and services. I teach a lot of yoga online. I teach meditation and breath work to people. And of course, I offer readings. Most of my yoga clients actually get readings as well. And then I run the brand. So I sell merchandise online. The T-mail store also have apparel and the courses and the books. So check all that out. But most importantly, let's get into the weekly reading. So this was really June 24th, 25th. We're on June 27th today, but we're looking at the timestamp of the week ahead for the water signs. Cancer, we're going to start. These are short little sound bites for the week ahead for my Cancerian lovers. Very clear message for you, Cancer, letting go of imbalanced dynamics, okay? Hey, Samuel J., how's it going? Yeah, that rings a bell many years ago. So, and other sites maybe? Anyway, nice to see you. So you're having to look at the horizons because there's an imbalance. Some of you guys are experiencing imbalance here with King of Pentacle. That's an earth sign, and this person is in the reverse, okay? This person, you have your back turned to this person, so I would dare say you've already probably walked away, and now you're trying to recoup your energy. The Six of Pentacle in the reverse. You're having to look at different options because that option, this King of Pentacle, probably drained your resources or just drained your energy. Why? Because it was imbalanced, because they were probably sneakily taking some energy, maybe stealing, if this was more of a work situation, like catching this person stealing, or the slightly different where this person is takes advantage. You saw them take advantage of you, or you were aware of people taking advantage of, or like a boss taking advantage of other people, and you're like, fuck that. Like, I'm not going to work with that energy. Hey, Michelle. How's it going, chica? It's so funny. I had that. Well, not the same, but similar. Like, I had an awareness of something coming in, and I didn't, like, intuition was like, go speak to them, and I didn't, and I'm curious. I wonder about that. As in, I wonder about, like, brief encounters and how I remember brief encounters, and then I wonder if, like, other people remember them. Okay, that was Cancer, right? So, let's go. Scorpio. So, Cancer, looking at your options, maybe sourcing different opportunities, probably going it alone for a bit, because you're healing from imbalance. Wow. I wonder if it was just a very brief encounter as well. Amazing that. So I had a recent awareness too of like how we project stuff onto other people, and yet it's all held within us. I was missing somebody recently, and I reflected on like the energy of the missing, and then I suddenly realized that missing a certain feeling, or like the way two people can come together and like create a certain divine expression. And in that moment, I realized it's in me. Like that feeling of love, that feeling of nurturance. Yes, obviously having loving connection with humans is incredible, and like being able to be affectionate and like truly lovingly support people, versus often is the case what we're experiencing isn't love, it's either need or there's so many kind of intertwining games with regards to the paradigm, because we're still kind of working out those power dynamics within self. But yeah, just that potency and power of like, as in I felt I felt that. And though we can recognize we support one another and we can often catalyze one another to remember, put ourselves back together. Remember, we are the love that we seek. I know, it's so easier to spout off this Shazam or rhetoric and then, yeah. So divine guidance and love and clarity now for Scorpio. I'm hearing like moving on up. Okay, Scorpio, Queen of Swords. I need more clarity. I need a bit more clarity for this. There's definitely messages coming in here, Scorpio. Messages coming in. There's that King of Pentacles again. So there's a Queen of Swords and a King of Pentacles. You guys know you can do what you like with the genders, right? I love that. I am the love of my life, you know? We are the love we seek, because so often we can project stuff onto people we think are going to love us or we think are going to support us, provide for us, whatever. And that all gets fuckarooed, you know? Like, as in, instead, often what we're finding is that these situations or these relationships are catalyzing toward deeper healing. Forcing us as a collective, or seemingly forcing us to become free and autonomous and to truly love one another, versus hanging around with one another because we're frightened of whatever's on the other side of that, you know, of that mediocre relationship, or that or worse, abusive relationship or abusive familial system. And this is where the discernment comes in, because most of us are not blaming parents and blaming our ancestry. We've invited it. Okay, so if I've made this choice to be here, then on some level I've made the choice to clear those patterns and to break free from those ancestral karmic loops, right? So as a generation, that's seemingly kind of where we're at. It's like we can continue to fight the system, which actually, in a sense, keeps it in place, or go within. Go within. Know thyself, to thine own self be true, my lovers. Final card here for Scorpio. So we're here reading for the Scorpio. We've already done Aquarius. Some of you, it's like getting communication from a Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. This is, I'm feeling more of authority, a parent, like an auntie, an older sibling. This person feels older. You're getting messages back and forth. They might be a bit triggery. This person is not necessarily the best to kind of listen to. I don't think they're like hardcore manipulative. I just don't think they're particularly savvy with regards to what you personally might be working on. You're definitely focusing on the pentacle, though. You're focusing on your business success. You're focusing on things going good for you. And I just think you're not, like, I could interpret this like, okay, you're definitely in a relationship. It's just that the relationship might be a little bit on the back burner, okay? Hey, Gracious Love. Hey, I remember that as well. That way, Michelle. I remember all you guys. But Gracious Love and Samuel J., who used to be, what did you say, Truth and Kindness. Y'all been around for ages. I've been thinking about that, like years and years of sharing here. Divine guidance and loving clarity. Yeah, so you're just kind of focusing on bossing up, like getting Shazam done. If you guys are single, I just see two doubles. I see the Lovers, and then with the Justice card, there's two characters, right? And there's two, so I'm thinking communication. Queen of Swords in the upright wants to move forward. I just, and the 9, I don't know if it's, fuck it. Like, there's something here about, like, just go for it, Scorpio. I can't, there's something about, I see what I want. I'm going to move in the direction. I'm going to communicate my needs to this person. Otherwise, I know I'm going to end up burnt out. Otherwise, I know I'm going to end up repeating cycles I don't want to repeat. And again, you might not get exactly the answer you want. You might not get, say you're going to a bank or you're going to a grandmother or a mother and be like, please, can I have a loan? I want to set up a business or I want to do that. You might not get exactly the answer you want. But I'm feeling like it's pretty promising here. Scorpio, it really is a time for y'all to, I would say, like, come into yourself a bit more and, like, let yourself flow with the creative energies that you're being guided to flow with, because you're worthy, because you deserve it. Music. Some of you are probably musicians or very, very inspired by music. So keep listening to it. Okay, let's move into our finer, the finest of all the signs, Pisces. Pisces, let's get into your read here, my loves. Pisces, the final water sign. What are the messages for my Pisces? Divine guidance, love and clarity. Healing and closures, man. There's such a lot of energy around healing and closures. Ooh. Here, this. Ooh, Pisces, what's going on, my loves? I am going to put those back. So Pisces, divine guidance and loving clarity, nice energy, 10 of cups with that King of Cups. So your energy is coming through super supreme, possibly a lot of focus here on your family life. Divine guidance and loving clarity. This is for all my Piscean beauties. Divine guidance. Oh, miraculous times. Super dupes. Divine guidance and loving clarity. Man, that King of Pentacles is rearing his juicy head everywhere, manifesting the world, the Sun card, new beginning, and or a sense of a rebirth, finally coming out of a rebirth phase. Some of you might receive or send a message. I feel like some of you in your recent past walked away from something that wasn't working because of all the cups surrounding the Sun. It could have been a love situation. Ooh, yeah, a little bit of catalyzing but non-committal, right? Pisces, beautiful energies for you guys. Super duper positive. There's the Sun card, rebirth, feeling innocent, feeling the capacity, the awareness, the potential to move free. Some of you guys just in flowing and just flowing, but not feeling like you have to move forward. It might be that you start to pull things in. For some reason, when I'm looking at this 9 of Cups, this is a 9 of Rivers in the Shining Tribe deck, I'm thinking of, let it go, Pisces, let it go. It's like you've walked away enough, you know yourself well enough. It's like, focus on what you really want because it's here. Wish fulfillment is the 9 of Cups. Wish fulfillment with the 9 of Rivers. But it's not like you're making it happen. You're just on your steed, riding ahead, moving forward, feeling probably pretty good with the Sun card, you know? I'm thinking of going to parties, having a nice time with people, etc., etc. 9 of Cups is like, don't hold back now. Why? You've come too far to hold back now. Just send the message. Or just know thyself, knower of trees, know thyself. Some of you might just not want to, like, express love in this moment for this week ahead. Four of Cups has a little bit of energy. A little bit melancholy. No, I don't want to share. I don't want to express, right? But But some of you are, I am getting that vibe, even with the non-committal. I'm like, some of you are definitely looking for that commitment, and or there's this new lease on life that's allowing you to commit to yourself. So I started, I think by 2018, I think you have to have over 1,000 subs. I could be wrong, but I started going live and, oh shit, no, I was going live before that, I'm sure of it. 2017, 2016 even? But then I'm like, earlier, 2013, 14, 15, and even 16, 17, I feel like I just made videos and put them out there, and then I had a video, 2 videos, one in September 2018 and one in March, March 2019. I had a channel called Aluna Ash 9D, and she shared one of my videos, and I can remember it was really cool. As far as like, some people must experience this all the time, but when she shared it, it was like a short period of time. I remember waking up that morning and having like 150 emails just via subscriptions. Like suddenly overnight, that's when my subscriber count went over 1,000, and I met a bunch of you guys through her sharing my work. And then another time she shared, it went up to like maybe 1,500. That was 2018. So you can see the slow, steady progress of my channel and my work of like, not particularly having huge amounts of support, like capital and or like the desire to like do any kind of weird manipulative marketing tactics. So yeah, so then what are we now? 6-ish years later. My account's gone up a bit, and recently I just found a bunch of scamology on my Instagram account, so I've actually like taken my Instagram from like 8,000 to 4, and I'm probably gonna bring it right down because it's just, you know, really annoying. Like, look at my sexy pictures, just like so much scam bot on Instagram. I'm not digging Instagram these days. I'm preferring TikTok, but anyway, are we still focusing on Pisces, lovers? So Pisces, this is probably going to be a week or a little bit of a phase for you to explore. I don't think this is necessarily time for you to like run forward and make decisions or make any big decisions, because I feel like you're still healing and integrating. And this energy is very much about like, you're not, this little creature here isn't forcing anything. Ooh, there's just this freedom flow. Sun is on your back. So this isn't a serious energy. Even though in your recent past you've probably felt some intensity. Maybe it felt really serious. But don't worry, you're healing. Pisces, you are healing. Wishes are being fulfilled, but it might look like there's a bunch of shit going wrong first. You are making a commitment to yourself. You're wanting to share. And like so much of the collective, we got to break free from codependencies. Let's get the final Pavarti message for... I'm going to read this message specifically for all of the water signs. Thank you guys for joining me here. Parvati. Let's read for Parvati. Goddess of devotion, love, and yoga. Ooh! I love this card. So pretty. So you pull upon Parvati when you've taken immense action toward becoming your highest self. In Hindu mythology, Parvati was in love with unattainable Shiva, who was deep in the mountains practicing yoga and detached from the material world. She knew he needed the feminine to bring him down to earth. But he was totally inaccessible. Instead of begging and pleading, Parvati decided to become her highest self and seek enlightenment through yoga. Her family objected and saying women cannot become yogis. Just, isn't it cray-cray how it's all woven into our historical context of like, women can't do this, women can't do that. Why? Because we want to have control over these women. Anyway, saying her family, no, You can't become a yogi. It's only a place for men. Women must clean and have baby. I don't, fuckers. Or we chose, maybe we all chose, right? How very dare he. Am I, guys? Hi, Scott. Hi, doctor. How are ya? Okay, um, so she decides to become her higher self or yoga, but her family, even though she's like her higher self, her family is like, no, you can't become a yogi. But she headed to the mountains anyway. Like, namaste, my familia. Off I go. Okay, so she headed out to the mountains anywhere, and where she stood in a frigid stream, balancing on one leg for uncountable months or years. Eventually, Shiva felt her immense energy. I just got goosebumps. And fell in love with her because of her strength and determination. Pavarti represents commitment to practice. Oh my God, I feel like crying for some reason. I literally was meditating last night and a little bit of a dreamy space, but also like a slightly uncomfortable sensation of like, oh fuck, I have no idea, and like drifting in the unknown, and like I don't have the energy, ambition, and but there was something so real. And this is also going way back to my early training and study of all the yoga, and there's a quote that says, practice, practice, all is coming. And I kept hearing that in my meditation, which made me feel of like, MJ, you're not in control. Practice, practice. As in, just keep showing up every day. Practice, practice, practice. I started working with a new person with meditation vibration, and it just reminds me that it takes practice. Like, people want calm, peace, and serenity, and yet they don't sit in stillness. And so it's like you have to practice sitting in stillness and cultivating the connection point. It's why we do Shavasana at the end of yoga. Rest in peace, die to the illusion. Practice coming into your center point of stillness. That's the point of power. But I explain it to clients because it's like we wouldn't go to the gym and think that we're going to be fit as anything after one gym session. Right? Maybe some people can shift instantaneous, but most of us would agree we need to like keep at it. We need to go for months and months, potentially, before we actually see the guns of the Hala Yoga. I mean, that's yoga. That's calisthenics for you. You don't actually need the gym stuff necessarily. You just move around, go for a walk. Practice, practice, all is coming. All this razzmatazz, all this quick fix bonkersness doesn't work. I was like, I want peace of mind. I want to calm my anxiety. Well, sit down and shush yourself and observe. And that's part of it. It's not comfortable. People don't want to sit with themselves. People don't want to observe. It's like, ow, ooh, gross. It's boring. Some of you guys will have heard this story, but I'm going to leave you guys with this story. It's like we watch TV, we do all these things. So when I was at my Vipassana meditation 12 years ago, around thereabouts, by about day 3, now bearing in mind you don't talk for 10 days, you sit for about 10 hours a day, and the women in the retreat have a female teacher, and of course you can always go and talk to that teacher if you need to, and the men have a male teacher. And every single time we sit, our teacher, so there's like 100 of us queuing up, putting ourselves on our little meditation cushions, getting ready to be like sitting there just forever, or so it seems. And eventually I noticed every single sit, the teacher would say, let's meditate. And I, at the time, was still partying. And it was shortly after finishing my Vipassana that I eventually just booze and alcohol and the desire for alcohol fell away. But I did up to that point. But I desired to let it go because I was always one of those drinkers. I knew something was wrong. I was like, drinking is not for me. I either black out or end up waking up in some scary situation. I'm like, I gotta not drink alcohol. Just intuit, talk about higher self. Higher self was like, you will destroy yourself if you keep doing that. Okay. Hence, I didn't resonate with AA. I couldn't afford rehab or any of that shit. I just had to fucking get my ass on a yoga mat and sit and meditate and pray to the heavens of all that is mighty. That because anyone who's in the deep shits of addiction know that it kind of comes to that. It requires deep faith, but also like an earnest commitment to yourself and or acceptance. I truly, truly believe that the totality of the spirit and the love of all that is loves us no matter what. That means we are acceptable with all of the shit and the shame that we think we want to hide away from, you know? Anyway, practice, practice, all is coming, you guys. You're committed to yourself. Oh, look, I've just changed the page, but we're going to go back and make sure we read everything from Parvati. So, Parvati. So, eventually, Shiva felt her immense energy and fell in love with her because of her strength and determination. Parvati represents commitment to the practice. That's where I was. She represents commitment to the practice because we all have a personal practice. And when we commit to that practice, we commit to our best self. We commit to our highest self. Like when that yoga came in for the third or fourth time in my adult life, I knew. I was like, I need to commit myself. And I did. And that my yoga career has been the only way as a conscious adult that I've ever made money, other than my tarot readings now and little bits from the online brand. But my main source of income of how I channel expression and how I share resources in this world and thus create value and receive value to support my life and help me pay for food and rent and things like that has come through my dedication to yoga. Hence the understanding and knowing when you dedicate yourself to something, if you dedicate yourself to something and plug away at it, you're going to get good enough to teach it, and or you're going to become well enough versed in something to share that expression. And if you keep at it, and I mean, I kind of in a sense didn't have a choice because I've been intuitively guided. So the times where everything's gone shit show, I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm in some deep karmic shit now. I'm going to have to see it through. But that's the whole point. I'm like, we wouldn't heed the call. I say this jokingly, but it's real. I'm like, I wouldn't force anyone to do anything. I don't want to force people to do shadow work. I don't want to force. It's like to each their own, truly. And yet I want to continue to permission my own highest self, my own highest expression, my own feel good state of being. And that's something about being sensitive, is that sometimes when we feel good or when we feel great, we trigger people. And then sometimes we all have really weird and wonderful, funny ways to retreat and isolate in order to kind of get a sense of healing. But I would dare say a lot of us here on this channel, like, we're not quite aligned with mainstream culture. We can often probably feel overly stimulated going around into big crowds of people. And increasingly, I think the mainstream rhetoric and agenda is starting to collapse, and or more and more of the collective is waking up to the corruption. The fact that our leadership doesn't have our primary care at stake or the primary care of our collective home, which is planet Earth. There's this weird, destructive, distorted perspective that's separate from the human heart, and it's more about a mechanistic agenda, which actually isn't about accumulation and progress at all. It's just about power and domination and control. And I think there is perhaps underlying sort of usurping, like that's part of like understanding kind of spiritual side of it. It's like disengaging the parasitic, which is like, in a sense, that false illusion is also the darkness that is actually a parasitic. It's going to kill its host kind of thing. So we need to kind of embed ourselves into true love on earth and be that expression and trust in the divine benevolence that comes through us to create the new systems and structures to uphold the beautiful harmonic of this regenesis planet. Because to me, this planet is, it shows us it shows us through the three-dimensional realm of the regenesis, which is the Christ, which is, all the divine ancient teachings from all over the world and all the world religions are kind of pointing to. Rather than putting it outside of ourselves, let's become the light that we seek. Let's become the change that we desire. Let's be the people we want to be, Sometimes easier said than done. We talk a lot. Hence meditation vibration. Sit in silence and see what happens. I don't want to. Ooh. Oh yeah, did I finish that? So Vipassana, everybody, my teacher, every time, every day, be like, oh, let's meditate. We'd be like, okay, we're meditating. So by day 3 or 4, teacher would go, let's meditate. MJ inside head would go, let's party. Because I realize self-study, big part of yoga. It's a pillar of yoga. Self-study, know thyself. And I'm sure it's probably in other texts. Why can't it be fun to get to know who we are? Let's party. It's like navigating the infinite consciousness of your own beingness, because we're all connected and we're one with the entire universe and this planet. So why we get too caught up and consumed in the detail, I don't know. But I'm also a bit of a introverted, self-reflective by nature, and I dig on all this stuff. It's not for everybody, and that's okay too. Holla Shazam, you guys. Great to see you all here. Do you own a yoga studio? No. Actually, that was coming through. I was a couple months ago looking at a studio, and then I kind of felt like I was just doing it to distract myself. I mean, I've been teaching yoga for like the best part of 20 years and 16, 17 years. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been physically in my body, and I'm now with yoga, and like there's so much yoga out there that I don't really feel the need to do it. And I'm at this interesting point in life where I'm like, I'm trying to just be still enough to let invitation. So as in, I get through word of mouth and recommendations, I get a lot of yoga gigs. So I don't need to run a studio. I never felt called to kind of like teach teachers. I work at retreats. I can host retreats, and I've hosted retreats abroad in Morocco and Portugal. I just don't, there's so much of it's a bit saturated to me personally. And also like the lots of visions and things that I was doing 6, 7, 8 years ago. There's lots of that, you know, and I'm just kind of shifting a bit where I don't, there's lots of that. And also like running the brand and doing my online work and creating content, all this takes up the majority of my time. And then when I'm creating content, bearing in mind, like usually even 7 days a week, I have client sessions. So I'm teaching yoga online, and I don't need to ramble on about it, but no. And I realized it was more important for me to sustain my own home rather than expand entrepreneurially, because it didn't, I was trying to discern like where is this coming from, and it felt ever so slightly like a bit of a distraction and an egoic power attachment, versus an authentic truth where I'm like a lazy hippie. Like I, in truth, just want to kind of have a camper van and tour around to different places and have enough money to like get abroad maybe once a year, you know, like, simples. It's the simple life, and tarot and yoga. It's things that come into my life that have helped me along the way, that like so many of us, it's like, oh, if this helps me, maybe it can help other people. And so it goes. How do you meditate? Usually just sit and breathe. It's there's so much out there about it, but I usually encourage people to shop around, try different techniques. At some points of our life, some techniques might work for us. At other points, they won't. You know, if we're going through deep psychosis or depression, meditation might not be the right thing for us. You know what I mean? Anyway, have a great day, you guys. So nice to see you here. I don't go live consistently, but I try to do a live share with my Patreons every single week. Patrons get ad-free first access, but they also get the weekly Patreon collective reading where I just share like this, but it's live, which means they can be notified and come join me in the live share. So feel free to check out the Patreons. They also get access to the Be the Chain courses, the online yoga crew, and discounted on services. So patrons get a lot. But of course, like all of these subscription things, you know, if you sign up and not dig it, you can get the freebies and then cancel your subscription. And one of my fave astrologies, Lara, the end talks about like an ethical bribe. I'm like, yeah, I'm bribing you, but we're all being brainwashed essentially to buy stuff. So I think some of us as intentional or conscious creators and running new paradigm brands. There's working with that. Like, how do I sell and promote stuff to you, but stay in my integrity and like, and also not lie, right? Like, not say like, oh, my Be the Change courses are going to change your life. They might. They have the potential to. They call Be the Change. But I'm not going to lie and say like, they're going to radically change and transform your life and you're going to be so much better after. But they have that potential. And there's a deep reverence for the planet here. So I do think that the Be the Change courses help people make more conscious choices. So have an awesome one. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for popping in, you guys. Yeah, really good. I'm glad you caught us live. Okay, I'll see you soon, guys. Take care. Peace out.